The restaurant hummed with the clink of glasses, soft jazz in the background, and bursts of laughter from nearby tables. I sat there in my emerald gown, my heart racing as my husband, Ethan Carter, reached across the table, his fingers grazing mine. His smile was warm, magnetic, the kind that made time slow down. "Happy anniversary, Claire," he murmured, raising his champagne flute. I smiled back, a glow spreading through me, but then he said something that stopped me cold. "Did you like the gift I sent?" My breath caught. For a second I thought I'd misheard. I blinked, glancing around the table as if the gift might appear among the plates and flickering candles. "Gift?" My voice wavered. Ethan's smile faded, replaced by a hard, piercing look. He turned slowly, his eyes fixing on my family at the next table. My parents, my sister, and her smug husband, who'd insisted on crashing our anniversary dinner as a surprise. My mother's fork clattered against her plate. My father stiffened, avoiding Ethan's gaze, but my sister, Nicole, leaned back in her chair with that infuriating grin she always wore when she thought she'd won. Ethan's voice dropped, low and controlled. "Where is it?" The table went quiet, the air tightening like a knot. My pulse pounded as I swallowed hard, heat flooding my face. My family knew something I didn't, that was obvious. Nicole crossed her legs slowly, twirling her wine glass. "Maybe it got lost in the mail," she said with mock pity, her tone laced with sarcasm. "Things happen, don't they?" Ethan ignored her, his gaze still locked on my parents. My father cleared his throat, forcing a weak chuckle. "Ethan, son, you must be mistaken. It was probably sent somewhere else." "No," Ethan's voice sliced through the tension. "I had it delivered here directly, a diamond necklace worth more than the car you drove tonight." He leaned forward, his jaw tight, fingers gripping the table's edge. "And I want to know why my wife doesn't have it." Nausea hit me, my stomach twisting. My family had done shady things before, selfish, greedy moves that left me humiliated, but this was different. Nicole tilted her head. "Maybe you shouldn't spend that kind of cash on someone who doesn't even value it." She shot me a cruel look. "Claire's never been good at keeping nice things." My chest tightened. That wasn't just a jab, it was a confession. She knew where the necklace was. "Nicole," I said, my voice shaking but sharp. "Did you take it?" Her grin widened, but she didn't answer, raising her glass as if toasting her own nerve. Ethan's hand slammed the table, the sound jolting the glasses and drawing eyes from across the restaurant. He didn't care. He leaned closer, his voice low and chillingly calm. "If you think you can steal from me, and from my wife, you have no idea who you're messing with." For the first time, Nicole's smirk wavered. Her husband shifted uneasily, his hand brushing her arm as if begging her to back off. But my parents stayed silent. No defense, no shame, just silence. That silence broke something inside me. I realized I wasn't just their daughter or sister. I was their scapegoat, the one they could use, belittle, or betray without a second thought. But tonight was different. Ethan wasn't letting it go, and for once I didn't want to stay quiet either. I sat up straighter, my voice cutting through the tension. "You didn't just steal from him, Nicole. You stole from me on our anniversary. You tried to humiliate me in front of my husband like you always do. But this time you've crossed a line." Nicole's face flushed, but she forced a laugh. "You're blowing this out of proportion. He's being dramatic. It's just a necklace." Ethan's eyes blazed. "It's not about the necklace. It's about respect. And you have none." The table was electric now, eyes locked, breath sharp, hearts racing. My mother finally spoke, her voice trembling. "Ethan, please, let's not make a scene." But Ethan cut her off. "The scene's already here, and I promise you this doesn't end tonight." I sat there, my heart pounding, torn between fear and relief. Fear of what this fight would unleash, and relief that I wasn't facing my family's cruelty alone. This wasn't going to end with awkward apologies or hushed excuses. Not this time. And deep down, I welcomed it. The restaurant felt heavier, every eye on us as if the room itself was holding its breath. Nicole's smirk was gone, but her pride wouldn't let her back down. She leaned forward, venom in her voice. "Oh, come on, Claire. Don't act like you haven't benefited from Ethan's money. Maybe I was just balancing things out." Her words cut deep and the room spun. My pulse roared in my ears. For years, she'd stolen moments, attention, even love. But this was an attack on my marriage, my worth, my future. Ethan's chair scraped the floor as he stood, his presence towering over Nicole and her husband. His voice was steady, but every word burned. "You think stealing from me is a game? You think humiliating Claire is some kind of sport? You've crossed a line you can't uncross." Nicole tried to laugh, but her hand shook around her glass. Her husband, Daniel, shifted, his voice low. "Nicole, maybe we should just give it back." Her head whipped toward him. Give what back? She hissed, her eyes flashing. Don't you dare make me look guilty. Because you are guilty, I snapped, my voice louder than I meant. People stared, whispered, but I didn't care. My body trembled with rage, but I refused to back down. Admit it, Nicole, you took the necklace. You wanted to ruin my night and you thought no one would call you out. Well, I'm calling you out. Nicole's face burned red, her composure cracking. For once she had no sharp comeback. My mother's voice wavered. Claire, lower your voice, this isn't the place. I turned to her, years of buried anger spilling out. The place? When has there ever been a place? Every time she's sabotaged me, you've said nothing. Every time she's humiliated me, you've stayed silent. Tonight, she stole from my husband and you're still protecting her with your silence. So tell me, Mom, when do I get to matter? Her face paled, lips tight, but she didn't respond. Ethan's hand brushed my shoulder, grounding me. His voice was calm but razor-sharp. Claire, you matter to me more than anything. He turned to Nicole, his expression hardening. And anyone who hurts you hurts me. That necklace wasn't just a gift, it was a promise, and you tried to steal that from her. Nicole's eyes darted around, realizing she was cornered. The whispers from nearby tables grew louder. She hated being exposed, and Ethan was stripping away her arrogance in front of everyone. Finally, her voice cracked. Fine, maybe I saw the box, maybe I thought you wouldn't notice if... You thought wrong, Ethan cut in, his voice sharp enough to hush the restaurant. Daniel reached into his jacket, pale as a ghost, and pulled out a velvet box. He set it on the table like it was burning his hand. Here, take it, we don't want trouble. My stomach churned. There it was, the diamond necklace Ethan had chosen for me. My fingers hovered over the box, trembling, but I didn't open it. Not yet. This wasn't about the necklace anymore. It was about years of being diminished, ignored, erased. It was about my family, always choosing Nicole's ego over my dignity. I looked at Nicole, her face pale and twisted with anger. For once, she wasn't in control. You tried to take this from me, I said quietly, my hand on the box. But you can't take what really matters. You can't take my marriage. You can't take the respect I've earned, and after tonight you won't take my silence. Nicole opened her mouth, but Ethan cut in, his words final. If you ever try this again, I won't just take the necklace back. I'll take everything you think you have, because it's built on lies, manipulation, and theft, and I promise the world will know it. Nicole's bravado crumbled. She looked down, her knuckles white around her glass. For the first time, she was speechless. The tension was suffocating, but something shifted inside me. I felt taller, stronger. Years of suppressed pain and quiet endurance fell away like chains breaking. I finally had a voice, and tonight it resonated. The waiter approached nervously, offering dessert menus like a lifeline. The absurdity made me laugh, a sharp, bitter sound that surprised me. Ethan pulled me close, his voice firm. We're leaving. I nodded, standing, my legs steady despite the storm inside. As we passed my family, their eyes weighed on me, guilt, shame, resentment. But I didn't shrink. I didn't lower my head. I walked out, Ethan's hand in mine, my dignity intact. But as the restaurant doors closed behind us, one truth burned in my chest. This wasn't over. The cool night air hit my face as we stepped outside, but it didn't calm the fire inside. Ethan pulled me close on the sidewalk. This isn't the end, Claire, you know that, right? I swallowed, my throat tight. I know they won't stop, Nicole never stops, and my parents, they'll always take her side. His jaw tightened. Not anymore, not after tonight. I wanted to believe him, but the ache in my chest reminded me of every time I'd walked away from their cruelty to keep the peace. Except peace was never real, it was surrender. And I was done surrendering. We slid into Ethan's car, silence heavy between us as he started the engine. City lights streaked by, but all I could see was Nicole's smirk, the way it cracked when Ethan demanded answers. For the first time, she'd been exposed. At home, I sat in the car, staring at the velvet box in my lap. The necklace, the gift meant for me. My hands shook as I opened it. The diamonds gleamed under the streetlight, each stone a spark, a reminder of what was almost taken. Tears blurred my vision, not from weakness, but from a strength I hadn't felt in years. Ethan's voice cut through my thoughts. Claire, you've spent your life letting them walk all over you. Tonight you fought back. And I need you to know something. He turned to me, his gaze fierce, protective. I'll never let them hurt you again, but you have to decide if they stay in your life. His words hit hard because they were true. My family's love was always conditional, manipulative. They only reached out when they wanted something, money, validation. I'd given and given, hoping it would be enough. It never was. I closed the box, my resolve hardening. No more, Ethan nodded, his jaw softening. Then we handle this together, but Claire, when the truth comes out, they'll try to spin it. They'll play the victims. Are you ready for that? A dry laugh escaped me. They've made me the villain my whole life. What's one more time? The difference is I'm not alone anymore. He reached across, brushing my hair back gently. You're not, and I'll make sure the truth comes out. Sleep was impossible that night. Every tick of the clock, every flicker of light from passing cars pulled me deeper into the weight of what happened. I replayed the restaurant scene, Nicole's arrogance, my parents' silence, the gasps. The more I thought, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about a necklace. It was about everything they'd taken, confidence, joy, dignity, piece by piece, year after year. By morning, I felt drained but determined. Downstairs, Ethan was at the kitchen table, laptop open. He looked up, his expression serious. I made some calls last night. My stomach tightened. Calls? To my lawyer, to people who need to know what your sister and parents did. They crossed into theft, Claire. That's not a family argument. That's a crime. My breath hitched. I wanted justice, but crime hit like a punch. Ethan, if you go that far, they'll hate me forever. They already do, he said bluntly, then softened. But I don't care about their feelings. I care about you. You deserve better than their lies. I sank into a chair, my mind reeling. Fear tugged at me, but beneath it, something else grew, freedom. For once, the choice wasn't about keeping them happy. It was about protecting myself. I looked at Ethan, my voice steady. Do it. His eyes softened as he squeezed my hand. We're not just stopping them from hurting you again. We're making sure they never get the chance. I exhaled, the weight of years lifting. For the first time, I wasn't the silent one. I'd drawn a line, but I knew this was just the start. Liars don't fade quietly, they fight back. And my family wouldn't let their facade crack without a battle. The morning after Ethan's calls, my phone blew up. Missed calls from my mom, furious voicemails from my dad, desperate texts from Nicole, all saying the same thing. How could you do this to us? I nearly laughed at the irony. They stole from me, humiliated me, and now they were the victims. Ethan, in his sharp suit, glanced at me. They'll try to twist the story, don't answer. Don't let them spin your words. He was right, so I didn't. By afternoon, the consequences hit. Nicole's husband called Ethan, voice trembling, begging to settle quietly. Ethan put it on speaker, his tone steady. Daniel, your wife stole a diamond necklace meant for Claire. Your family covered it up. That's not quiet. That's theft, and people will know. Daniel stammered, then hung up. By evening, the whispers became exposure. Ethan's lawyer had reached the right people, and word spread fast. Nicole's perfect image shattered under the truth. Her friends who loved her polished facade vanished. My parents, desperate to shield her, called again, their voices shaking with anger. You're destroying this family, my mom screamed in a voicemail. No, I whispered, listening. You destroyed it when you chose her lies over my dignity. That night, Ethan and I attended a charity gala he'd committed to weeks earlier. I wanted to hide, but he insisted. This is your night, Claire, not theirs. Walk in with your head up. So I did. The ballroom sparkled with chandeliers, cameras flashing as we entered. I wore the necklace, its diamonds gleaming against my collarbone. It wasn't just jewelry. It was proof I wasn't invisible. As the night went on, whispers followed, not cruel, but admiring. People talked about my strength, the woman who faced betrayal and stood tall. Then, during dessert, they appeared, my parents, Nicole and Daniel. Uninvited, but entitlement was their currency. Nicole's eyes locked on the necklace, her face twisting. That's mine, she spat loud enough to turn heads. The room went silent. Cameras rose. Ethan's arm slid around my waist. Say that again, he challenged, his voice booming. Nicole faltered but pushed on. She doesn't deserve it. I should have had it. I always should have. Enough. My voice cut through, clear and steady. My hands didn't shake. My eyes didn't waver. You stole from me, Nicole. You humiliated me. For years, you've tried to make me feel less than you. But look around. I gestured to the crowd, watching her unravel. Your lies couldn't buy you respect. Your cruelty couldn't break me. Tonight, you exposed yourself. Her face burned. My parents tried to step in, but it was too late. The cameras caught it all. Ethan's voice sealed it, cold and final. Walk away now, because after tonight, the world will know who you really are. Nicole's lip trembled. She had no comeback. She turned, dragging Daniel and my parents with her, their heads bowed in shame. The room buzzed, but I stood tall, Ethan's hand in mine. I wasn't the silent scapegoat anymore. I was free. As the orchestra played, Ethan leaned close, whispering, Happy anniversary, Claire. This is just the start. I smiled through tears, the necklace warm against my skin. My family tried to take everything, but they gave me something greater. My voice, my dignity, and the strength to never bow again. This time, I'd never let it go.